Have you ever thought about how Grandma achieved her glow and stamina through all these years? The answer lies in these 25 hidden recipes and remedies she preserved for the day you'd need them. And while that day may have arrived, fear not. These recipes are here to turn back the clock. First up, we have a classic, the bone broth elixir. This humble liquid gold has been a staple in kitchens worldwide for centuries. It's made by simmering animal bones, chicken, beef, or even fish, with water, vegetables, and a splash of vinegar. The magic happens during those long hours of slow cooking. The heat breaks down the collagen in the bones, releasing amino acids like glycine and proline, along with essential minerals like calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus. Collagen helps maintain skin elasticity, giving your face that firm, youthful look. And for your joints, the gelatin from the broth acts as a lubricant, because who wants creaky knees when dancing to their favorite oldies? Historically, bone broth was a survival tool. From medieval peasants to 19th century pioneers, it nourished people during tough times. In ancient China, bone broth was prized as a beauty tonic, reserved for royalty. Making it is simple but rewarding. Think of it as slow cooking your way to the fountain of youth. Just don't let anyone catch you licking the pot clean, unless it's Grandma. Next on Grandma's list is a drink so golden it practically glows: turmeric golden milk. This soothing blend of turmeric, black pepper, ginger, and warm milk, or your favorite plant-based alternative, isn't just a bedtime treat, it's a powerhouse for your health. Turmeric, the star ingredient, contains curcumin, a compound celebrated for its potent anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. Curcumin isn't easily absorbed by the body. That's where black pepper comes in, with piperine to boost absorption by up to 2,000%. Ginger adds a warming zing and further supports digestion. Combine this with milk for creaminess and a dose of calcium, and you've got a recipe that's equal parts comfort and health. It's been around for centuries, often called liquid gold. In ancient India, brides drank turmeric milk for radiant skin before their wedding day. To make it, simply whisk a teaspoon of turmeric, a pinch of black pepper, grated ginger, and your choice of milk. Sweeten it with honey if desired. Sip slowly and feel the warmth from the inside out. Grandma called it her glow drink. We call it science in a mug with a side of golden charm. Here's one of Grandma's most treasured secrets: fermented foods. Whether it was tangy kimchi, crisp sauerkraut, or creamy yogurt, these probiotic-rich staples were her secret weapon for a healthy gut and a glowing complexion. Fermentation is the art of controlled spoilage, where natural bacteria break down sugars and starches, creating lactic acid. This process not only preserves the food, but also boosts its nutritional value. For example, kimchi, a spicy Korean cabbage dish, is loaded with vitamins A, B, and C, while sauerkraut is a gut-friendly powerhouse packed with fiber and antioxidants. Yogurt, made by fermenting milk with live cultures, provides calcium, protein, and billions of probiotics to support digestion. But the benefits go beyond the gut. A healthy microbiome reduces inflammation throughout the body, including your skin. By balancing bacteria, fermented foods can calm acne, redness, and even eczema. Interestingly, fermented foods date back thousands of years. Ancient Romans had their own version of sauerkraut, while Indian households perfected curd yogurt. Cleopatra supposedly credited her radiant skin to bathing in sour milk, which is rich in lactic acid. Every morning, Grandma had her trusty honey and lemon water. It was her daily ritual for hydration, detoxification, and a bright, healthy glow. This simple concoction is made by mixing the juice of half a lemon and a teaspoon of raw honey into a warm glass of water. The warmth enhances the release of lemon's vitamin C, while the honey's natural enzymes and antioxidants remain intact. Together, they create a harmonious blend that's as healing as it is hydrating. Honey and lemon water works wonders for your skin. Lemon's vitamin C is a key player in collagen production, reducing wrinkles and improving skin elasticity. Meanwhile, honey's antimicrobial properties help combat acne and soothe irritation. This duo has been cherished for centuries. Ancient Egyptians used honey as a natural healer, While lemons have been prized in Ayurveda and traditional Chinese medicine for their cleansing properties, during the 18th century, sailors carried lemons to prevent scurvy. Not for skincare, but it probably didn't hurt their complexions either. Grandma swore by it, calling it her liquid sunshine. And honestly, who wouldn't want a glow as bright as hers, without the expensive skincare aisle drama? One of Grandma's favorite beauty rituals, surely, is the avocado mask. This green masterpiece isn't just guacamole gone rogue. It's a deeply nourishing treatment that brings hydration and vitality back to your skin. The recipe is as simple as it is effective. Mash half a ripe avocado until smooth, mix in a tablespoon of honey for its antibacterial properties, and add a teaspoon of oatmeal for gentle exfoliation. Apply it evenly to your face, let it sit for 15 minutes, and rinse with warm water. The result? Skin that feels soft, plump, and rejuvenated. Avocados are the real MVP here, rich in healthy fats, vitamin E, and antioxidants. These nutrients penetrate deep into the skin, locking in moisture and combating dryness. The honey works its magic by soothing irritation and reducing redness, while oatmeal exfoliates dead skin cells without being harsh. Together, they form a trifecta of skin nourishment. Ancient Aztecs referred to avocado as butter of the forest, using them to protect and soften their skin in harsh climates. Grandma always joked that this mask made her look so young, she got carded at the bingo hall. It's nature's facelift, no needles, no fuss, just pure avocado goodness. Next in Grandma's arsenal of age-defying secrets is the green tea tonic, a drink so packed with antioxidants, it's practically a superhero in a cup. Brewed from the delicate leaves of the Camellia sinensis plant, green tea has been cherished for centuries as a natural remedy for health and beauty. Steep a teaspoon of loose green tea leaves, or a bag if you prefer, in hot water for 2 to 3 minutes. For an extra twist, Grandma often added a slice of lemon or a drizzle of honey. The key is not to overbrew, as it can turn bitter, and let's be honest, no one likes a bitter cup of tea or a bitter outlook on life. Green tea's benefits are vast, but for the skin, it's the high concentration of catechins, a type of antioxidant that works wonders. Catechins neutralize free radicals, those pesky molecules that damage skin cells and accelerate aging. Historically, it was first used in ancient China over 4,000 years ago as a medicinal tonic. Japanese geishas swore by green tea-infused face rinses for smooth, porcelain-like skin. Grandma always said green tea was like a gym membership for your skin, except much cheaper and infinitely more relaxing. Among Grandma's timeless secrets, aloe vera gel was her go-to solution for almost every skin concern. This simple, transparent gel, extracted from the leaves of the aloe vera plant, is a botanical marvel with a history stretching back over 6,000 years. Harvesting aloe vera is as straightforward as it gets. You cut a mature leaf from the plant, slice it open lengthwise, and scoop out the clear, jelly-like substance inside. This fresh gel can be applied directly to the skin or stored in the fridge for a cooling treat on a hot day. Aloe vera is rich in vitamins A, C, and E, all of which are antioxidants that combat free radicals and help repair skin damage. It also contains polysaccharides, which stimulate collagen production, promoting skin elasticity and reducing fine lines. The gel's natural hydrating properties soothe irritation, heal minor burns, and even fade scars. Think of it as nature's all-in-one skincare product, no preservatives required. During World War II, it was used to treat radiation burns because of its remarkable healing abilities. Grandma loved to joke that aloe vera was the cheapest therapist she ever had. Smooth, soothing, and always there when you need it. One of Grandma's favorite morning rituals was her apple cider vinegar drink. This zesty tonic, made by mixing a tablespoon of raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar into a glass of water, was her secret to staying balanced inside and out. Apple cider vinegar is made by fermenting apple juice twice. The first fermentation turns it into alcohol, and the second introduces bacteria to create acetic acid, the compound responsible for its tangy flavor and health benefits. To sweeten the deal, some people add honey or a dash of cinnamon, but Grandma liked it straight. She said it woke her up faster than coffee. Internally, it helps balance the body's pH, improve digestion, and support gut health. Better digestion means better nutrient absorption, which reflects in healthier skin. Additionally, its natural antimicrobial properties can help combat breakouts and promote a clear complexion. Historically, apple cider vinegar has been around since ancient Greece. Hippocrates, the father of medicine, used it as a healing tonic. ACV was a popular home remedy during the Great Depression, praised for being effective and affordable. Grandma's skincare routine wasn't complete without her oatmeal scrub. This humble yet effective exfoliator, made with pantry staples like oats, honey, and yogurt, was her tried-and-true method to keep her skin smooth and glowing. Creating it is straightforward. Start with 2 tablespoons of finely ground oatmeal. Mix in a tablespoon of honey and add enough plain yogurt to form a thick paste. Gently massage it onto your face in circular motions. Let it sit for a few minutes and rinse with warm water. The result is skin so soft, you'll wonder why you ever bothered with store-bought scrubs. Oatmeal is the hero here, acting as a natural exfoliant that gently removes dead skin cells while soothing irritation. Honey contributes its antibacterial and moisturizing properties, while yogurt, rich in lactic acid, helps to brighten the skin and even out tone. Oats have been used for centuries, even in ancient Egypt and Rome, to treat skin conditions and maintain softness. Oatmeal baths were a go-to remedy for itchy skin long before modern dermatology. Grandma used to say, "Why spend a fortune at the spa when breakfast ingredients do the job just fine?" And frankly, after trying this scrub, it's hard to argue with her logic. Another staple in Grandma's wellness routine was her love for herbal teas. She swore by brews like chamomile, dandelion root, and nettle, claiming these natural infusions were her secret to detoxifying, nourishing, and keeping her skin clear. To make these teas, all you need are dried herbs. For chamomile, steep a teaspoon of flowers in hot water for 5 minutes. For dandelion root, simmer it in water for about 10 minutes to draw out its earthy, slightly bitter flavor. And for nettle, use a teaspoon of dried leaves in hot water for 5 to 7 minutes. Chamomile is best known for its calming properties, but it also contains antioxidants that help fight skin inflammation. Dandelion root acts as a natural detoxifier, flushing out toxins and improving liver function, which can help keep your skin clear. Nettle, rich in vitamins A, C, and K, supports blood circulation and reduces puffiness. These herbs have been used for centuries in various cultures. Chamomile was revered by the ancient Egyptians, while dandelion root has roots in traditional Chinese medicine. Nettle has been called a beauty herb for centuries, not just for its medicinal qualities, but because it's believed to give skin a healthy glow. Garlic-infused olive oil was another one of Grandma's hidden gems. She used it both in the kitchen and as a topical treatment, thanks to its powerful antibacterial and anti-inflammatory properties. Making garlic-infused olive oil is simple. Take a few cloves of garlic, crush or chop them, and add them to a bottle of extra virgin olive oil. Let it steep for about a week in a cool, dark place, shaking it every day to allow the flavors to meld. The garlic releases its potent compounds, which work wonders when used both inside and out. Internally, garlic is well known for its ability to boost immune function and fight harmful bacteria. But when applied topically, it acts as a natural antibacterial agent, helping to clear up skin infections and soothe irritated areas. The olive oil serves as a hydrating base, offering deep moisture while also aiding in the absorption of the garlic's nutrients. Ancient Egyptians even used it as a remedy for ailments. During World War II, soldiers used garlic to prevent infection in wounds. One of Grandma's favorite beauty treatments was rosehip oil. This natural oil, extracted from the seeds of wild rose bushes, became her go-to remedy for glowing, youthful skin. Its secret lies in its high content of vitamin C and essential fatty acids, which work together to combat signs of aging and rejuvenate the skin. To make rosehip oil, the seeds of the rosehips are harvested and cold pressed to extract the precious oil. The process preserves all the beneficial nutrients, resulting in a potent elixir that's ideal for restoring and hydrating the skin. The benefits of rosehip oil are well documented. It's a powerful anti-aging tool, thanks to its ability to stimulate collagen production. Collagen helps maintain skin's elasticity, reducing fine lines and wrinkles. The essential fatty acids, including omega-3 and omega-6, deeply hydrate and repair dry or damaged skin. Rosehip oil is also a great choice for reducing dark spots, scars, and hyperpigmentation, making it a natural remedy for skin tone imbalance. Rosehip oil was used by the ancient Egyptians, including Cleopatra, who was known to use it to maintain her radiant complexion. It was also a staple in folk medicine throughout Europe. One of Grandma's best-kept secrets for luscious, shiny hair was her coconut oil hair mask. This tropical treat, rich in fatty acids, is a natural powerhouse for maintaining strong, vibrant locks. Making the mask is easy. Simply melt a couple of tablespoons of coconut oil in your hands and massage it directly into your scalp and hair. For a deeper treatment, wrap your hair in a warm towel and leave it for at least 30 minutes before washing it out. You can even leave it overnight for an extra boost of hydration. Coconut oil's benefits for hair are well known. The lauric acid in coconut oil helps it penetrate the hair shaft, nourishing from the inside out. It acts as a natural conditioner, preventing protein loss, which results in shinier, stronger hair. It also moisturizes the scalp, helping to prevent dryness and dandruff. Grandma swore by it, claiming it gave her hair the kind of shine that would make a shampoo commercial jealous. Used for centuries in tropical regions, coconut oil was an essential part of beauty routines in India, the Philippines, and the Caribbean. In fact, it's said that ancient Indian women used coconut oil long before it became popular in the Western world. Grandma always said that the key to staying youthful was found right in nature's bounty, seasonal fruits and vegetables. She made it a point to eat whatever was in season, believing that local produce was the most nutritious and freshest way to nourish the body and the skin. Eating seasonal produce means enjoying fruits and vegetables at their peak, when they're packed with vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. Whether it's summer's juicy peaches and tomatoes or fall's hearty squash and apples, these foods offer the nutrients our bodies need to thrive. In addition to supporting overall health, seasonal fruits and vegetables are fantastic for the skin. Berries, like strawberries and blueberries, are high in antioxidants, which help combat the effects of aging by protecting skin cells from free radicals. Leafy greens, like kale and spinach, provide vitamin C, essential for collagen production, keeping skin firm and radiant. Seasonal eating has been around for centuries, with people growing and harvesting according to the natural rhythm of the seasons. Grandma often remarked that eating foods in season just made sense. It's how nature intended. Did you know that ancient Greeks believed eating seasonal foods helped maintain balance in the body? Grandma would have agreed, especially when it came to enjoying summer berries in a fresh salad. Grandma's homemade pickles were a powerhouse for gut health and immunity. These simple fermented treats were made with just a few basic ingredients: cucumbers, salt, and water, left to ferment in a jar for a few days to a few weeks, depending on the recipe. Sometimes she'd throw in a few garlic cloves or dill for extra flavor, but that was the beauty of her pickles: simple, effective, and packed with benefits. Fermentation is the key here. When cucumbers undergo the fermentation process, beneficial probiotics develop, which help maintain a healthy balance of bacteria in the gut. A healthy gut is essential for overall health and, yes, clear, glowing skin. The probiotics in pickles support digestion, reduce inflammation, and enhance nutrient absorption, leading to a healthier complexion from the inside out. Fermented foods like pickles have been used for centuries. Ancient Egyptians used them to preserve food and boost their immune systems. In fact, pickles were believed to be a favorite of Cleopatra, who likely enjoyed them for both their taste and their ability to maintain health. Grandma always said, "If you can pickle a cucumber, you can pickle a problem." And with the gut-boosting benefits of these fermented delights, she wasn't wrong. Grandma always had a jar of chia seed pudding in the fridge, her go-to breakfast or snack packed with omega-3 fatty acids and fiber. Made by simply mixing chia seeds with milk and letting it sit overnight to thicken, this simple dish became a powerhouse of hydration and digestion. To make chia seed pudding, all you need is 3 tablespoons of chia seeds and about a cup of liquid. Stir them together, let it sit in the fridge for at least 4 hours, and voila, an easy, nutrient-packed treat. Add honey, vanilla, or fresh fruit for extra flavor. Chia seeds are rich in omega-3s, which help keep skin hydrated and promote a healthy glow. The high fiber content supports digestion by keeping things moving smoothly in the gut, which in turn can reduce bloating and promote clear skin. Plus, chia seeds are loaded with antioxidants, which protect skin from the damaging effects of free radicals. This nutritious snack has been around for centuries, used by ancient civilizations like the Aztecs and Mayans, who believed chia seeds gave them energy and endurance. Grandma knew this. She always said, "Chia seeds are like little miracle workers for your skin and digestion." And honestly, who could argue with that logic? Grandma swore by her almond oil massage as the ultimate solution for dry, tired skin. She applied it generously to her face and body, claiming it was her secret weapon for keeping wrinkles at bay and maintaining that youthful glow. Almond oil is a natural oil derived from sweet almonds, cold-pressed to preserve its richness in vitamin E, antioxidants, and essential fatty acids. This makes it a perfect hydrating treatment for dry skin, as it helps lock in moisture and softens the skin's surface. A simple almond oil massage before bed was Grandma's way of showing love to her skin. She'd apply a few drops, gently massaging it in circular motions, letting the oil work its magic overnight. The benefits of almond oil are undeniable. Its vitamin E content nourishes the skin and helps to reduce the appearance of fine lines, while its anti-inflammatory properties calm irritated skin. Regular use can improve skin elasticity, making it look firmer and more radiant. Historically, almond oil has been a beauty staple for centuries, used in ancient cultures like the Egyptians, who valued it for its moisturizing and anti-aging properties. Grandma's cucumber and mint water was a staple in her daily routine. She'd always say, "A little cucumber in your water goes a long way for both hydration and keeping puffiness at bay." It was her go-to drink to keep her skin looking fresh and glowing, especially during the hot summer months. Making cucumber and mint water is simple. Just slice half a cucumber and a few fresh mint leaves, then add them to a jug of water. Let it infuse in the fridge for a few hours, and you've got a cool, refreshing drink that's perfect for staying hydrated. This drink is a true skin booster. Cucumber contains silica, which promotes healthy skin, while mint adds a refreshing touch and has anti-inflammatory properties that help reduce swelling and puffiness. The water helps flush toxins from the body, promoting a clear complexion. Cucumbers were used by ancient Greek and Roman women to soothe their skin, and mint has long been cherished for its cooling and healing qualities. Grandma always liked to say, "The more cucumber and mint in your water, the fewer wrinkles on your face." Grandma was a firm believer in the magic of castor oil, and not just for dry skin. She always kept a little bottle handy for one of her best-kept beauty secrets, promoting the growth of lush, thick eyelashes and brows. Applied nightly, castor oil helped give her lashes that extra boost naturally. Castor oil is derived from the seeds of the castor bean plant. It's rich in ricinoleic acid, a fatty acid that penetrates the skin and helps stimulate circulation to hair follicles, promoting healthy hair growth. Grandma would carefully apply a small amount of castor oil to her lashes and brows using a clean spoolie or cotton swab before bed. Over time, she noticed fuller, stronger lashes that were the envy of everyone. Used for centuries, castor oil has roots in ancient Egyptian beauty routines. Cleopatra herself was said to have used it to maintain her famously dramatic eyes. Grandma used to say, "If it worked for Cleopatra, it can work for you." Not only does castor oil promote hair growth, but it also helps to nourish and hydrate the skin around the eyes, reducing the appearance of fine lines. So, you get both thicker lashes and healthier skin, all in one little bottle. Grandma's whole grain. porridge was a powerhouse of nutrients to fuel the day ahead. She would often make it with millet, quinoa, or oats, all of which are packed with fiber, vitamins, and minerals. These grains were the perfect way to start the day, providing lasting energy without the crash that comes from sugary cereals. To make her porridge, Grandma would simmer her choice of grains in water or milk until they softened into a creamy, hearty consistency. She'd top it off with honey, cinnamon, or fresh fruit for extra flavor and antioxidants. The beauty of this breakfast was its simplicity and nutritional value. Each grain brought its own benefits to the table. Oats, millet, and quinoa are rich in fiber, which helps support digestion and maintain a healthy weight. They're also full of essential vitamins, like B vitamins, which help promote healthy skin. A fiber-rich diet helps maintain healthy blood sugar levels, and the nutrients in whole grains can keep your skin looking radiant by supporting healthy circulation. Whole grains have been around for centuries, dating back to ancient civilizations like the Egyptians and the Greeks, who recognized the health benefits of these humble grains. Grandma's love for ghee, or clarified butter, was a true beauty secret passed down through generations. Ghee is made by simmering butter until the milk solids separate, leaving behind the pure fat. This process removes the impurities, resulting in a golden, rich oil that can be used in everything from cooking to skincare. Regularly consuming ghee provides a healthy dose of nourishing fats, including omega-3 fatty acids, which support brain function and promote heart health. It's also packed with butyrate, a short-chain fatty acid that aids digestion and can help reduce inflammation in the body. Grandma always said, "A spoonful of ghee makes your insides, and your outsides shine." Topically, ghee worked wonders for soft, hydrated skin. Grandma would gently rub it into her skin after a long day, allowing its richness to hydrate and lock in moisture. The antioxidants and fat-soluble vitamins in ghee help keep the skin looking youthful and smooth. It's a practice that dates back thousands of years, with roots in Ayurvedic medicine, where ghee was considered a sacred elixir for both body and skin. After a long day, Grandma swore by her lavender and Epsom salt bath, the ultimate remedy to relax, unwind, and detoxify the body. She'd draw a warm bath, adding a generous handful of Epsom salt and a few drops of lavender essential oil. The Epsom salt dissolved, releasing magnesium, while the lavender filled the air with a soothing fragrance that helped calm her mind. Epsom salt is made up of magnesium sulfate, a natural compound that's known for its ability to reduce stress and relax muscles. Lavender, on the other hand, is a well-known stress reliever with calming properties, helping to improve sleep quality and reduce anxiety. Together, they created the perfect combination for a peaceful, restorative experience. Grandma believed that this bath not only helped her body relax, but also rejuvenated her skin by drawing out toxins. Used for centuries in both bath rituals and medicinal practices, this bath was Grandma's way of taking a moment for herself. The benefits are not just mental. The magnesium in Epsom salt helps to soften skin, while lavender works as an anti-inflammatory agent. So when Grandma said, "A bath a day keeps the stress away," she was onto something pretty powerful. Add this simple ritual to your routine, and you might just feel like you found your personal spa at home. Grandma's spinach and walnut salad was her secret weapon for staying strong and vibrant. This simple yet nutrient-packed salad featured fresh spinach, crunchy walnuts, and sometimes a drizzle of olive oil or balsamic vinegar for extra flavor. Spinach, a rich source of iron, helped keep her energy levels up, while walnuts provided a hefty dose of omega-3 fatty acids that supported her heart and brain health. This salad worked wonders for the skin, too. Spinach is loaded with antioxidants, including vitamin C, which helps protect skin from damage and encourages collagen production, keeping her skin smooth and youthful. Walnuts, with their omega-3s, help reduce inflammation and keep skin hydrated, contributing to a natural glow. Grandma would often prepare this salad for lunch or as a light dinner, using whatever fresh ingredients were in season. She believed in eating whole, nutritious foods to nourish the body from the inside out, and this salad was a key part of that philosophy. So next time you're looking for a quick, nutrient-packed meal, remember Grandma's spinach and walnut salad. It's a boost of antioxidants, healthy fats, and skin-loving nutrients all in one. Grandma always had a few tricks up her sleeve when it came to maintaining her thick, shiny hair, and one of her favorites was her homemade herbal hair rinse. This simple yet powerful rinse was made by steeping a blend of rosemary, sage, and nettle in hot water. Each herb brought its own unique benefits to the mix. Rosemary and sage helped to stimulate circulation in the scalp, promoting hair growth, while nettle, packed with vitamins and minerals, strengthened hair strands from root to tip. Grandma would brew the herbs, let them cool, and then pour the liquid over her hair after shampooing, massaging it in for a few minutes before rinsing. The rinse not only helped darken her hair naturally, but it also gave it a healthy shine and thickness. Used for centuries in traditional herbal medicine, these herbs have been known to enhance hair color, reduce hair loss, and support scalp health. Rosemary, especially, is known for its ability to encourage hair follicles to grow, while sage darkens hair naturally without any harsh chemicals. For Grandma, this rinse was a staple in her beauty routine, providing a natural, chemical-free solution to keep her hair looking its best. Grandma had a morning ritual that was as refreshing as it was ancient: warm water and oil pulling. A practice passed down through generations. Oil pulling involves swishing a tablespoon of coconut or sesame oil in your mouth for about 15 to 20 minutes first thing in the morning. It's as simple as it sounds, but it packs a punch when it comes to oral health. The practice has been used for centuries in Ayurvedic medicine to help detoxify the body, promote gum health, and freshen breath. Coconut oil, known for its antibacterial properties, works wonders at pulling out toxins and bacteria from the mouth, while sesame oil helps to lubricate the gums and maintain oral hygiene. Oil pulling can even contribute to healthier skin. By detoxifying the body, it reduces the load on your skin, helping to clear up blemishes and promote a healthy complexion. In fact, many people swear by oil pulling as a way to reduce inflammation and even fight premature aging. Grandma knew the benefits of this old-fashioned practice, and she made it a part of her daily routine. Swishing for just a few minutes gave her a clean mouth and radiant skin to match. And the best part was that it's all natural, no fancy toothpaste needed. Shepherd's pie is an American classic for many reasons besides just being the expected main course whenever you were heading on over to your grandparents'. It has the gravy, the meat, and mashed potatoes, which all combine together to make for a pretty comforting meal. The kind of dish that really takes the edge off, you know? Plus, grandmas would usually stick to the traditional recipe of using ground lamb. Differences between various kinds of lamb can make or break a good shepherd's pie, but our elders seem to have it nailed down to instinct. Combine an extremely solid taste with the fact that it was pretty cheap to make, with the most expensive part just being your protein, and you have a dish that can easily stand the test of time. The typical scrambled eggs breakfast has been more or less a national tradition for so many years, it is impossible to tell where it really started. Low-key, small-time diners, high-tier French-American restaurants, and steakhouses all serve some kind of variation on eggs, including scrambled-ons. Hence, what do you do to add a little bit of variety, texture, and a bit of spaz to this classical option? If mayonnaise can work wonders for a burger, why not try it here? No, seriously, you'd be surprised. We know most people never make the link between eggs and mayo, but they can actually make them so much more fluffier and add this nice creamy texture too. If you do not believe us, then just search up any grandma's recipe for mayo eggs. Do not knock it till you try it. Cornmeal mush is usually made with water or milk and is a type of pudding or porridge depending on the needs of the meal. This became incredibly widespread in the southeastern and eastern bits of America, and it makes sense given how much wartime rations were consumed there. When the government would hand those out, they would often make a point to lower sugar usage and use molasses to conserve other ingredients, so people would pair cornmeal mush along with them. Mush is a more accurate term since it does kind of land somewhere in the middle ground between a pudding and a porridge. It has the consistency of the latter, but it gels and sets like the former, which gives it a slightly airy texture too. Did you know it would not be cooked in milk though? That was set after the mush was prepared to cool it down. Are you a big fan of deli food? Deli meats, sandwiches, loaves, that kind of thing? Then one of the best parts of that kind of eating was the olive loaf. It was usually made with pork and beef plus chopped green olives, which is what it became known for. There was a small, brief period before convenience foods started taking over America, where processed meats were really becoming a thing, and this dish was a big part of that time, which arguably spanned all over the 1940s to the 1970s. It had an extremely loyal fan base too, as this was responsible for many deli counters still staying in business. These days, you could find retro stalls that still do a mean olive load, but the days where this was a commonplace item on the street and something you'd see your grandma cooking up are long gone in America's history. People definitely remember the flavors of the bologna, the ham loaves, and all the amazing dips they came with, though. If you were going on over to your grandparents for a casual Christmas or Thanksgiving visit, you may have been surprised to find that the dinner table was anything but casual, with delicacies like squash casserole. Creamy, crunchy, and filled with cheddar cheese and crackers, it is an all-time favorite that has been a staple of holidays and birthdays in many households. It was more popular to correctly reflect past tense in the 20th century, which explains why you would usually only find your grandparents making it, and back then, it would be very common to have this at potlucks. Some households still have it at theirs, but the trend has taken a bit of nosedive with the cracker and cheese combo taking a bit of a backseat. That only goes for if you are ordering a squash casserole from a restaurant, though, because from the hands of any American granny, it was a dish impossible to resist. This is one you have definitely heard about. Popeyes, Wendy's, KFC, or Burger King, there is nothing that hits that sweet spot in every corner of your head like some fried chicken does. Something about it makes it the perfect marriage between seasonings, oil, chicken, and breadcrumbs. You have probably tried this yourself too, but using baking powder on that chicken skin can get you some extra crispy zingers ready to go. Perfect for sandwiches, burgers, or just some chicken katsu curry. Ever feel like doing something extra with your chicken fillet? You know what to pull out of the cabinets. There's never been anything bad that came out of too much crispiness, except cholesterol issues and heart problems, but that's for like when you are 60 or something. Potatoes had more use than just what was under all the layers. Once peeled, people would often fry the potato skins as a midday snack. Nothing would ever go to waste in homes back then, as you must have gathered by now. If they can make stuff out of sausage drippings and drain the fat from bacon to reuse, frying up some potato skins does not seem that out of the box at all. These fried skins were the perfect sidekick to potato pancakes, and the fact that the skins had a lot of health benefits made it all the more appealing. Things like this really helped to keep appetites in check, and that meant that the financial situation of the home would be calmer too. So this is a bit of a tricky name to pronounce even when you give it a genuine try, but it's worth knowing about this dish because of how good it is. Ballymaloe Irish lamb stew is something that comes all the way from County Cork, and lamb stew is something that Americans welcome with very open arms. You can particularly find this dish being spread in droves around St. Patrick's Day in any Irish-American community. Whether you're in New Hampshire or Rhode Island, which even today have a pretty solid amount of Irishmen living in them, you're bound to run into a Ballymaloe stew once in a while. Despite how good of a stew it is, with tender carrots, potatoes, and tender strips of lamb, and how simple the preparation is since it relies mostly on the natural flavors present in the ingredients, this dish actually flopped once before. Well, I wouldn't say it was a true flop, but it did fade out of the memory of the general public before too. That was before the 20th century, but ever since then it has been seeing a bit of a revival thanks to social media and Ballymaloe House, which is what it's named after. Either way, this is one of the best recipes to ever come out of a family cookbook. And if you've ever had one while at an Irish friend's home, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. Speaking of cheddar cheese and nostalgic family meals, we cannot go without mentioning the ever-timeless King Ranch chicken casserole. This is definitely a dish for those people who feel like casseroles without meat or protein of any kind are missing something and do not feel as fulfilling. It would take about an hour to cook, but this did massive numbers in every neighborhood from Detroit to Texas. Especially more so in the South, it was a common practice for families to preserve their King Ranch chicken casserole recipes. The real strength of the dish was that you could use as much of the ingredients as you wanted, letting you double or even triple the dish, an advantage that Southern grandmas would very often use when they were in the mood to dote on their grandkids. Sometimes your fridge gets a due date for the scrapyard much earlier than it should. Sometimes the gas runs out and you are left debating a crisis. Do I let all my frozen stuff, my protein, and my milk go to waste? Or do I take some inspiration from my ancestors and try a neat little milk preservation hack? The next time you find yourself on the edge of a dairy disaster, try placing your bottled milk in a bowl of cold water. This next step is baby levels of difficulty. All you need is a wet cloth placed around the edges. Gets rid of those nasty bacteria, gets rid of your milk gone stale worries. We think it is an all-around win-win. So most oatmeal meatloaf recipes use the oats as a side piece to, like, 2 pounds of lean ground beef, but that was obviously not what people were working with back then. Instead, the loaf was made entirely of layers of oatmeal, with sausages and bacon stuffed into it to give that meaty profile. Some dried onions and garlic meant that there was good enough reason to get the fine plates out, and there was always enough to go around too. Plus, grandmas really ran with the recipe right after the Depression ended and things started going back to normal. They would add things like tomato sauces and never spare the eggs or the flour. Probably why kids would love it so much since they went all out with it. But after going through a patch where this was a luxury, you cannot blame them for wanting to go the extra mile either. We're going to take a bit of a deep dive into a cuisine that we haven't really explored before. I'm talking about caponata, which is a very traditional Sicilian dish that goes all the way back to the 18th century. It's supposed to be a sailor's dish. Can you believe that? It got that reputation attached to it because the birthplace of caponata was Sicily. There's no specific restaurant or name that's credited with making it, but if you ever went there, you'd know just how much the people appreciate this. The first time this became popular in America was when Mediterranean cuisine and Italian immigrants were mixing together and creating all sorts of new dishes, as well as bringing old familiar ones from their homeland. The best part about this dish for a lot of people was that it gave a chance to a vegetable, which otherwise people just aren't too fond of. I mean, eggplants aren't really the most main course worthy idea you could think of, right? Pair that up with some tomatoes, onions, olives, and capers and cook it in vinegar, sugar, and olive oil. Make a nice little traditional agrodolce sauce, and you'll get this extremely earthy dish with a lot of complex flavors going for it. Now, mashed potatoes and gravy need no introduction or explanation. Everyone and their mother's mother has had it. But did you know how good they were at making it? Receiving this dish from the chefs of generations ago was an entirely different experience in comfort. We do not know what spices they would mix, as each area had its own variations, with some even using mushrooms. Most popular was coriander, thyme, black pepper, and some oregano. The gravy would even put KFC to shame, if we are being completely honest. You just did not feel like eating from the outside when you had such fine dining available at home, and it was the perfect thing to get you back up only our feet from an exhausting day. This one is similarly another one you may have not only heard of, but seen, tried, and tested for yourself. Toasting spices in a pan can do wonders for their flavor. It is like steroids with athletes, except nothing about it messes up your system. Just a little bit of toasting can really bring out every last drop of flavor from whatever spices you are working with, and the end result you get is an explosively flavorful dish that packs thrice the punch you thought it would. Sounds like a pretty good deal this time too, right? Ever thought about why this happens though? You know how spices have these oils in them, and they are largely what is responsible for that banging taste we are all used to? Once you toast them, the heat starts to draw out those oils and it kind of puts them on turbo mode. Cumin gets more healthy. Chilies are no longer just spicy enough to make your eyes water, but sweet and smoky too, and coriander really gets flavor. Oatmeal went out the window and cornmeal came in, especially as the base of dishes like Johnny cakes, which were the cravings of everyone. They were made from fried cornmeal gruel, hot water, salt, or sweetened milk if it was available. People used a specific kind of pan to make these too, and it was known as a spider pan. Essential to the Johnny cake experience was keeping a very watchful eye on them to ensure the crisp did not burn, as well keeping a constant supply of bacon fat. That was another thing that got popular as people would store the fat from strips of bacon up and use it in dishes like this. In half an hour, you had a pretty decent lunch made with some pretty bare-bones ingredients. Bacon. Crackers, I mean, sure, they're pretty good even as a typical easygoing breakfast, but what do we really do here? You eat something enough times, you tend to get used to it and get bored. How do you get around that? Well, since the topic is retro dishes, we used to hear a lot about bacon bow tie crackers back in the day. It was something you could find for breakfast or a cocktail appetizer, which is some serious versatility. The crackers were extra crispy since they were wrapped inside bacon and then baked until the bacon itself was pretty crispy. It was the perfect combo, and all they needed was each other to realize that. It was smoky but sweet. It was also savory, but buttery smooth and not dry at all. Dishes that are such neat little combinations like these are often hiding right under your nose, and if we didn't have the imagination of so many home chefs who found these and got them into the public sphere, then we'd be a lot more tasteless as a country. Southern skillet cornbread has been a beloved memento of the South for many decades to the rest of the nation, but in the area, it is a tradition that goes back all the way to the 18th century. History books tell us that it comes from Native American cuisine, and it makes sense since a lot of Native American cuisine was very cost-effective. It is kind of everything you would want in a home-cooked meal, easy on the wallet, simple ingredients you can find at any nearby store, and little prep time, which means you can get your cravings fulfilled immediately. Plus, most cooks back then were so accustomed to it from a lifetime of making cornbread in these cast iron skillets that they could make it much faster than even an experienced cook. Guess experience counts for something, especially when you have 40 to 50 years of it, right? Here's a patty grilling technique endorsed by the culinary virtuoso himself, Gordon Ramsay. You get some nice beef patties perfectly shaped, seasoned, and ready to be slapped onto the grill for the most divine homemade burger you have had in the past 5 years. Turns out it was a bit too humid, the meat was a little dry, and the grilling took away all the moisture. You end up with a dry, chewy patty that does neither your teeth nor your taste buds any favors. So what's an honest burger lover to do? Put some ice cubes on that bad boy and let it grill. You will genuinely be shell-shocked at the results. The whole thing here is that it keeps that moisture locked into the patty, so the burger stays constantly juicy throughout the process from the moment you put it on the grill to the moment it hits your plate. It is not like you have anything to lose by trying except like 4 ice cubes, so give this a shot. And remember, you can always take Ramsay's word for it too. This recipe really made a name for itself during the mid-1930s to 40s when people were facing a dire shortage of eggs. Still, if you did not have even some potatoes on hand but still wanted a pancake to cheer your kids up, you would go for eggless pancakes. Some shortening, sugar, milk, and salt were all you needed to make this version of the beloved American dish, plus just some water to bind if you could not find any milk to spare. Lucky were the homes that had lard, as that really made for some fluffy and thick cakes, but complaining was not really something people did during those times. A simple recipe like this let them revisit the taste of pancakes from back when they had fully stocked fridges, after all. Brown Betties were one of the most classic American desserts to ever grace the table of an American kid. Something that might be seen as an old-fashioned dessert now, but used to be the next best thing after an apple pie. The flavors of a Brown Betty usually come from the spiced apples and other fruit-layered dishes, which are really buttery. The sugary breadcrumbs on top give it a crunch, which really adds to the entire vibe of the Brown Betty. You're looking for a warm, comforting dish that gets you in a nostalgic mood. Something you can sit down with and enjoy bite for bite, not rush through. It's an experience that you want to savor, like an empty, windy street as you walk down by and enjoy it. The Brown Betty was definitely something that would get you up out into the street, whether you were going to visit your grandma's for an authentic pie or a nearby bakery to reminisce about childhood days. The earliest recipes you can find are the ones from 1866, but those are more like Apple Betties than the ones we're talking about. Either way, this dish has definitely evolved alongside the population, and those who grew up with it will remember it fondly. pot roasts have been as much a part of the grand scheme of American culture and cuisine as anything else on this dish, and each area, state, and neighborhood has their own ideas of what one should look like. Were you the kind of kid that grew up on beef chuck roast, potatoes, a beefy broth, and carrots in your roast? Maybe you had boneless chuck roast, olive oil, bay leaves, and stuff like that instead. These are just the few variations you can expect to find when it comes to a good, well-done pot roast. The perfect party snack or a great one to pull out for an incredibly large family dinner with the in-laws and extended family, this is one dish that never fails to pull through, especially when a seasoned cook is behind it. Just like breadcrumbs have become synonymous with providing the perfect golden, crunchy exterior, crushed cornflakes have the same reputation from our grandparents' days. Most things you would add this to, like chicken fillets or strips, would get significantly more crunchier and crispier. And the coating did not taste as much like cereal as you were thinking it would. It actually just tasted like pretty good skin, the kind that crumbles and falls apart in your mouth as you bite into it. Probably the biggest benefit of your grandma cooking things up this way was that it really cut down on the grease factor. That can leave even the most loyal, crispy chicken lover feeling bloated, oily, and a little turned off for the day. In Texas as well as New York, rice with raisins started becoming a really popular dish among the middle class and a breakfast that many children grew up on. Especially in Indian American communities, which were sparse at the time, but they were still there every other block or two. It was already customary to eat rice with milk and raisins there, so they brought it to America, and others took note. They were not the only ones to introduce it, though, since Chinese Americans also had their own take on the recipe that led to a more custard-like variant. When people could not afford to even eat rice pudding, they would make their rice and eat it with different kinds of nuts and raisins. The idea spread like wildfire in states like Alabama and Arkansas and the Midwest overall. In Michigan, it was a pretty common choice to use brown sugar and cinnamon whenever available. Hoppin' John is a dish that has some pretty rich heritage. I'm talking about African, Caribbean, and Native American roots that all boil together in the melting pot known as the South, where it first started becoming really trendy. However, the origins of the dish are actually a bit darker than just a happy coincidence that somehow got into everyone's table. Though the people who were eating it happily wouldn't know, it was first created and brought over by enslaved Africans in the American South. It made use of African rice and pork, and yes, the best part of the dish were the black-eyed peas even in those times. Now, as far as the name Hoppin' John is considered, nobody really ever knew where it first came from, or if there was a John who made this dish and brought it into everyone's lives, but the first time this name was mentioned was in the 1840s in a print. If you were down in the South in African American communities during New Year, then you would especially see a lot of Hoppin' Johns everywhere. The aroma of those peas and the smoked pork wouldn't miss anyone's nose, as the scent carried for miles and miles away. It was eaten specifically on New Year's because it was a common belief that eating Hoppin' Johns would bring good luck to people if they ate it to start the year. If you went into any new year with such a good plate of food, I'd say your luck was already pretty good. So maybe it does work? A lot of the recipes from the times of our parents come from the Depression and from when America was recovering from it, but things like baked ziti is what they would whip up when they had a bit of money in their pocket. Some cooked ziti, ricotta cheese, eggs, and spaghetti sauce meant for an incredibly easy and amazing pasta. If you had the Parmesan to spare, you could also sprinkle it on or add a melted layer as a topping. It did not take too long to make, and it tasted very different from regular pasta or spaghetti and meatballs, which was a recipe favored by moms more than grandmas. The real highlight of the dish is in the shape of the ziti, since they end up being these 25 to 30 centimeter tubes. When they turn into soft pasta, they become great for chewing and work really well with the cheese. Grandmas would always spice it up with some beef or duck here and there, though. Speaking of turnoffs, something that detracts from all the maritime goodness fish has to offer is that offensive odor that tends to come with most seafood you will catch. Funnily enough, soaking your fish in milk can quickly eliminate that issue. Look, there is no easy way to say it. It stinks, and it stinks bad. It is not something you would want with your food, much less constantly oozing out of your fridge every time you open it. Grandmas did know that fish is too essential of a superfood to just cut out of the diets of growing healthy kids, though. Naturally, they did what they do best and scoured the ends of the culinary world looking for a way to solve the problem. The answer was always much closer to them than they would think, almost right under their nose. When you soak fish in milk for about 20 minutes, it bonds with the protein in the milk and the compounds in the fish responsible for that ghastly smell stick with the beverage afterwards. When you extract it, you get a clean-tasting fish with none of that ridiculous funk. So most oatmeal meatloaf recipes use the oats as a side piece to, like, 2 pounds of lean ground beef, but that was obviously not what people were working with back then. Instead, the loaf was made entirely of layers of oatmeal, with sausages and bacon stuffed into it to give that meaty profile. Some dried onions and garlic meant that there was good enough reason to get the fine plates out, and there was always enough to go around too. Plus, grandmas really ran with the recipe right after the Depression ended and things started going back to normal. They would add things like tomato sauces and never spare the eggs or the flour. Probably why kids would love it so much since they went all out with it. But after going through a patch where this was a luxury, you cannot blame them for wanting to go the extra mile either. So the next 2 dishes we have on the list are actually some classics right out of Africa and its many varied cuisines. First off, we have chicken and collard greens pilau, which is just the perfect dish to have if you're aching for something that involves a lot of rice in it. The steamed and boiled chicken mixed with the pilau as a base for the dish gives it an aroma that's pretty much unbeatable. Back in the middle of the 20th century, if you really wanted to experiment with some foreign cooking and tastes, then you would go into African American communities and try out the best of their soul food. You'd have to look around a little for the really nice restaurants, especially if you were in places like the southern parts of America, but nonetheless, people found a way. Pilau itself is also a dish that's extremely common in the subcontinent for many reasons. People use basmati rice for this, which is a little different from the rice you guys might be used to, but if you give it a shot, you might find that it has a more full flavor all around. Also, don't even get me started on how good this is for you. If you're a gym bro looking for a great way to add some tasty protein and carbs to your diet, then chicken and collard greens with some pilau is a pretty flawless place to start. Speaking of how different things were in their time due to the economical strife, one thing that got really popular back when your grandparents were still young was sausage gravy and biscuits. This might seem like an outlandish combo to us today, and we admit it takes a bit of getting used to, but the magic is all in the gravy. Biscuits and gravy are already something Americans have been pretty accustomed to eating, especially in the 20th century, but innovation is one of the finer points of the country, and culinary matters are no exception. People eventually found out that using pork sausage crumbles enriched the gravy and made it irresistible, especially if they were smoked. Usually biscuits like jumbo buttermilk ones make for a great side to the dish, but even the gravy alone was worth eating on its own. A golden rule passed down from grandmother to mother, and eventually to our generation, is that whenever you're cooking carbs like pasta or spaghetti noodles, you drizzle in a little olive oil. The trick here this time is that it prevents the noodles from sticking together, and we all like our noodles with extra twirling ability. Stacking up loads of pasta on a fork for a massive bite is one of the joys of pasta, to be honest, and that can only work if they are not all stuck together like somebody poured in hot glue. Olive oil can do literal wonders for this little problem that dominates most pasta-based dishes, and if you are new to it and want to make some killer Alfredo, remember to try this out. Comfort food in the 1940s could not be discussed without somebody bringing up American slumgullion. This was really hot in the Midwest and the South, mostly by its other name of goulash. The dish has been in recipes and cookbooks since at least 1913, and it would include ground beef simmered in a tomato sauce. It was a dish for nights that you really wanted to make matter, and it was also a great way to keep the nutrition and protein intake up. Think of it as like a kind of casserole, and if you have heard of it before, you should know the 1930s versions were a bit different. These ones involved no pasta or macaroni or cheese. Those would become staples of the dish much later on, and we have grandparents to thank for that too. The next thing we have on the list is Hoppin' John's soup, which is right out of the classics of soul food in the southern parts of America and all over, really. I say the South because that's where people most commonly associate its origins with. However, the Hoppin' John dish itself was something that was a result of all the Africans that were brought over as a result of the transatlantic slave trade. This dish typically involves black-eyed peas and African rice, but in soup form, it works just as well with mushrooms, basic vegetables like bell peppers, and spices. This is one of the best soups you could find yourself making in the winter, especially if you live in areas where the temperature really drops to bone-chilling levels. It's so hearty and warm that the dish just screams pure comfort in every way and form. It was a really popular appetizer on a lot of restaurant menus, and it was amazing as a lunch too, but this is a textbook example of an old head recipe. You wouldn't remember it, and your parents probably don't either if they're a little on the young side, but I'm sure anyone's grandparents would remember having this, or at least hearing about it in the days when it was still one of the trendiest soups around. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments if you knew about some of these recipes before.